is restarted, not readjourned, restarted. And we have on the agenda, Forge. Thanks for being here today. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
First off, Dr. Moore sends his greetings and his apologies he's not here. He is on a well-deserved vacation. I did get an email from him yesterday, and I chose not to scold him that we don't on vacation. So we just wanted to give you a regular quarterly update. I'm going to pass it on to Gosha to tell us all the cool scientific stuff. The next big stuff up.
I just look at the, ready? Yeah. I just look at the cheat sheet here. So, as you know, we're drilling the spring and summer. So we drilled the second well, deep deviated well, which is our first production well, the 16B, and it was done end of June. The staff here, it was pretty long, 10,947 feet long, but the depth was, true vertical depth was 80 to 159 feet. And it was about 311 feet above the injection well, the original one. We drilled in
2020 to 2021. And actually the goal was 300 feet, so pretty much on the nose.
And then, shortly after we finished drilling the well, we hydraulically stimulated the production and injection well. And right now we're estimating the temperatures to be about 430 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's see, some more stats. The drilling rates were pretty impressive again, 250 to 350 feet an hour. And because we're testing different bits, and as you can see, 30 bits were tested, we didn't exactly try to break drilling records like we did with the previous wells, because it obviously took time.
Can you come drill me a well? Seriously, you could drill me a well in 2 hours.
2 hours is all you need.
That's all I need.
Do you have $3 million?
No. Can you just do it pro bono and experiment testing this?
They're probably best bet. And then let's see, we're also coring, so we try to pull out some rock out of the stimulation zone and out of the reservoir, and we actually were able to recover 154 feet of core, which was about 80% recovery rate of almost zero on pool. So this is kind of the fun part here. The blue trajectory of both in the both diagrams is our injection well, and then the little peachy color, yes, I don't know who chose these colors, but that's the production well. And the dots you see, the red, the yellows, and all of them, those are the microseismic events from the hydraulic stimulation. So these are actual events. So this microseismicity, Dr. Moore probably explained, are those tiny little releases of energy when the fractures grow, and we're able to map them. So let's see. So we stimulated that, and as you can see, it was a 2-day injection into 16A, and then 7 barrels a minute, or over 300 gallons a minute. And the cool thing is about the tracers. So when we were drilling 16A and stimulating 16A, we were also injecting tracers into the 3 stimulation zones. And those stimulation zones, you can see on the little diagrams, there's the little white kind of a round circles on those bars. Yeah, those are the stimulation zones. And 3 separate tracers were injected into separate stimulation zones. So when we were drilling 16B, we were testing the mud, basically, and we were able to detect the tracers previously injected. So as we were drilling, also, we knew that we were hitting the reservoir. So we were hitting the fractures that we previously opened up. So that was cool. That was reassuring that we're obviously targeting the right area.
That was the hope, right?
That was the hope, yes.
She gave you the max rate. Overall, it was 1,800 barrels in that test, and about 75,000 gallons of water total.
And then finally, the production well now has 3 fiber optic cables, which I assume, for Dr. Joe Moore, pretty unusual to have that many strings thrown into a well, but so far so good. They're reading. We're collecting data, so it's pretty cool. So next slide. And this is the very cool video. I think we showed it last meeting, but since then we added a few thousand more events. So this diagram is a little more refined, but you can see how each stimulation, how the events were growing, right? So fractures were growing.
So how many times have you done this stimulation?
How many what?
How many times have you done stimulation?
So we did the injection well first, and then the second, now the production. So kind of have them. So you can see we're definitely better than work.
And that's what you expected to see? You got the results you were after?
Yes, we actually received or achieved connectivity, which is what we wanted. So we knew that that water goes in, water comes out.
Hopefully. So, coming up, we still need to drill the water well, and that is now finalized, will be finalized, and will be on the pad of 5832 well, which was our first test well.
And not on Commissioner Pearson's land.
Sorry.
This is a seismic monitoring well over on Mike.
There you go. And so then we'll set up the lines from 5832 pad to the injection production well pad to pump the water, obviously, to run long-term injection. Let's see, we'll obviously need the DT.
And I'll be in touch with the PEC people.
We'll be working on that, and hopefully ahead of time, then that's fine.
I remember that one.
Yeah, you do.
We'll do a full-scale stimulation in the early 2024, so that will be the true stimulation. We'll inject one, come out the other, hopefully, and then long-term circulation testing, and that hopefully will see if the water and how fast the water is heating up, and then how much we're actually extracting. And then what else? We're still working on our second solicitation, which means around 17 more research and development projects will be awarded, hopefully late this year, which is to the tune of another $50 million up for grabs. So right now we're doing all the proposals.
The water well, is that just leased water? Did you guys purchase water rights? No, that's actually a non-potable reservoir. Aquifer.
Okay, but you have water rights?
Yes, we have water rights, and I don't know how many years ago it was, it came up, and nobody wants it because it can't be used for human, animal, or agriculture.
The cows will drink it if they get thirsty.
Yeah, let's hope not. Glow in the dark?
A mineral package
Glow in the
with...
dark.
Maybe it'd be easier to find.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get run over on the road.
There it is.
We're onto something.
Oh, no.
So, community outreach, our fun stuff that we get to do. We had a couple of new. Wow. We had a couple of new videos come out. One which y'all will recognize yourselves in, which is it's great.
That might have
You'll see in a minute.
That might have been poor advertising.
But upcoming contests, so we're going back into the schools. We're ramping up that great poster contest that we did in the elementary schools to get that in school starting up again. And we are finalizing our song curving contest. We've changed a little bit, 7th graders to 12th graders, statewide again. And certain schools will have access to the two of us coming and teaching them. You can figure out where the schools are. So we're very excited about that. You can see in the photo there, the winners from last year were from Beaver High School. And I have to tell you, we told these two separately because they were in different classes. And I can't remember which one found out first, but as soon as they got together, the one said, we won the whole thing, and they jumped into each other's arms and jumped up and down. And so they, of course, received, courtesy of our friends of the mail, they received iPads. And there were a bunch of runner-ups as well. We were going to show you some of their video. It's very funny and cute. Natural History Museum It's on the way. That's Friday. Gosha and I and our friend, colleague Stuart Simmons are taking the core sample that they get to have as show and tell up to them, and we get a sneak peek of what it's going to be. So hopefully, I don't know how far along it is yet, but we'll see. It's been slightly delayed. It was supposed to start this coming month or next month, excuse me, but it's been delayed till November 11th. So, because of supply chain issues on something. Imagine that. And last but not least, of course, come see us at the fair. We're going to have a booth. We're excited. This is the highlight, it's of, I think, of our year. And unlike last year, we're not going to have to travel down here and then travel across Nevada quickly to go to the arena. So,
And we're ready for wind, rain, and sun. We're ready for everything.
we're ready for everything whatsoever. So, next slide. Oh, here's the winning video. Oops. Just
Just a snippet.
Everybody recognizes Taylor Swift, right? Yeah.
Pretty good.
It is an opportunity. Whole video, it is there.
Does the car solo in it as well?
That is amazing.
Yeah, and then here's the
That's why they
VIP.
won, yeah.
Yeah, it's our VIP video that we put out recently.
And you'll
You'll like that, some people in it.
There.
Available for autographs.
Right.
So short and sweet.
Sweet.
Does anyone have any questions for us?
Did you get my permission to put mine?
Yes, you did.
Your likeness.
It was all completely.
Should have warned me that I dressed better.
Right? Yeah.
For the horses.
The drama.
I took classes in practice.
Forever dream.
So what was cut is Gosha feeding one of the cows. I know, right? All right, so that's a quarterly
Thank
update.
you.
You guys have any questions?
So you guys will have a booth at the fair?
We do in the same spot as we were last year and the year before, so right there in the corner.
In the corner.
Because we need the electricity. And,
Did you bring your sunbonnet, your ring, gear, and,
everything down to tie things down to the table.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you.
Buckets and sandbags.
Yeah.
Last year, we were driving, just coming down into the valley, and I had to call Jim Webb and say, hey, were we supposed to have a table and chairs? He was like, yes. I was like, oops. But we brought them this year, but I borrowed my mom's.
so we're safe. You're safe, huh?
Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much. Have one good day. Be on the safe.
What? We can't do library.
Well, I've got some.
You promised me trees.
I know.
We'll sit and watch our friends. They have to say.
Virgo, you're next. Come on up.
I feel kind of like we're the posers.
And they do such a good job, you know, they're kind of a hard act to follow.
We're trying to follow their.
Live and learn, huh?
Second place is okay too.
You knock it off right now.
You need to put it in a video.
Speaking of swag, we always accept swag. And we can advertise
I'm
for
taking
it.
notes.
Yes, you need to stop by the booth.
No, but really, I definitely want to thank Forge because they've obviously been in this community for a long time. And Christopher and I have had some pretty regular calls, and he is the one who gave me all of your names and talked to me about this area, and it's really helped us figure out how to be good partners here. So, big props to you guys for doing it first.
I think that's why we wanted them here. We knew that was the first step to get somebody in to make power. So we appreciate them and you guys working together. I hope I can say that. I think that's
Oh,
what
yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
the whole, I just hope everything works the way we think it should, or the way we want it to be, and so far, so good, I mean,
You agree? Well, I know you guys have met us, but you haven't met Tim Latimer, our CEO, yet.
Yes.
John Director's here.
I'm Tim, I'm the CEO and co-founder of Verbo, so a role I've had for like 6 years now. And really excited to be part of the presentation today and also for those who can make it to help through on our site. I started my career as a drilling engineer working on rigs like the one we're going to take y'all to today, so definitely excited to show y'all around.
do you guys have business cards or anything that you can, or, you know, you can
Yes,
send
I'll
it
send,
to.
I'll send you an email.
Or
Whatever,
email or
just,
something like that.
yeah.
Yes,
And also, we just
We can do
introduced
the same thing.
yourself, and mine's just directly, so you just know who's here.
yes.
Well, good morning, everybody. I think, just to reiterate what Sarah was saying, Forge is a very hard act to follow, but they've done a great job showing what right looks like. And this being our first quarterly update, looking to learn from them and sort of improve our process, give you guys the information you need. But, to start off, on behalf of Verbo Energy, I'm very appreciative for the time taken out of your schedules to allow us to be here and brief you on the progress we've made. So we have a few slides here. Again, cannot live up to the Taylor Swift video. We'll do our best here.
You have to introduce yourself,
Yeah,
your
and
name,
I'm
just
Pat,
so that
sure.
it's on.
And I'm Pat Cullen, so development manager here at Verbo.
Tim Latimer, CEO of Verbo.
And I'm Sarah Jewett, VP of Strategy.
Thank you.
Go ahead. All right, and we'll progress. We're going to go one more slide. To start things off here, this is an overview. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the site map over there to the left, and we have a project timeline, some of our completed and upcoming activities. We'll detail a few more of those in the next slides here, but just at a high level, and you go back a slide, for our timeline. So as you all know, we had our initial permitting approvals earlier this year in Q1, which we'll talk through there, and that allowed us to then proceed into our initial infrastructure build-out for well pads and access roads. And then we have since progressed into actual drilling operations, which will also detail. So that's part of our resource appraisal and confirmation process, which then builds out initial wells in our well field, and that will allow us to then confirm our resource and progress into full-scale development of additional wells in our surface facilities or power plants to get electricity running. Next slide, please. So in terms of a quick, Q1 and Q2 recap, so this is sort of a Q2 to Q3, but obviously we had a lot done since the beginning of the year. So in terms of our permitting approval, again, we got our NEPA, exploratory environmental assessment, FONSI, finding no significant impact. Got our county conditional use permit, as well as submitted our geothermal drilling permits, both BLM and DWR. So that'll be a process that we continue throughout for each individual wells, getting those geothermal permits approved. And once that was completed early in Q2, we progressed with the build-out of our access roads and well pads. So you can see sort of the process on the bottom from left to right, getting those done. So that process started with the staking. So we used a Utah-based surveying company, Wintop, that staked out those locations because early in the year with snow on ground there. And then we had some fantastic support from the local Rollins construction company who did amazing work. Had a lot of good comments from our operations team on their road build-out, installation of the culverts that you can see there, and the grading, cut and fill of the well pads. You see the well pads that we built to date right now. We built two. Right now we're going forward with the naming convention of Utah Peaks. So the two pads we have built are the Delano to the east there, and the Frisco to the west that we'll be drilling on. And the last step before we actually went into the drilling operation, the installation of our conductor, which you can see down to the bottom right, essentially is our starting point there before we bring in our rig and start the drilling operations. Next slide. So moving on to the drilling operations themselves, we started off on that Delano pad, and this housed our initial vertical observation and monitoring well. I know Ford sort of mentioned some of their similar activities there, but we drilled this starting in late June, completed ahead of schedule in late July. So drilling went well, some great experiences there, a lot of lessons learned as well. But we started off by mobilizing a HMP, Hunter Contain rig number 492 for the site, which is still out there on the Frisco pad as we speak, and drilled this vertical observation well, which was then fitted with fiber optic cable. So that allows us to gather that data, eventually get to the point where we're providing similar products that you've seen before as well. Next slide, please. And then onto our Frisco pad. So this is the big deal here is it's going to house our horizontal wells. So we started off right now, we're continuing to drill our first horizontal injection well. It'll be the first in a set of 3 wells of the initial well system. So we're going to continue drilling these wells. We expect this first one to be drilled and completed by the end of this month, and they'll transition into the next following 3 wells we expect to be completed by the end of the year. Once that is completed, that'll allow us to go and progress into well completion operations, which involve the stimulation of our wells, which gives us the right subsurface conditions to be able to flow between them, and then we'll be conducting flow testing. So that's a big milestone for us. We expect those stimulation operations to kick off towards the end of this year, early next, depending on how these subsequent wells are drilled and completed. And we'll be able to flow test a few months later, hopefully, and get those initial indications of how the well system's going. And how the rest of the field is going to be developed is as we are conducting those stimulation operations, that same rig is going to be moving to an adjacent pad and continuing drilling operations. And that's sort of the same sequential approach we'll use to drill out this first set of 27 wells for this first phase of our development. It'll take us up through 2026.
So that rig will just stay on site for quite a while. Is there another rig coming as well? Or?
Yeah, we expect an additional rig, depending again on how these drilling operations go. Potentially late next year, potentially early 2025, depending how drilling, especially at this first three wells, is a big milestone for us to determine a lot of things and schedule that out. But that's sort of our high level expectation right now. But the main goal is to maintain continuous drilling operations with wells drilled.
You're going to be using the same technology that Forge pioneered, right? When you say stimulate, you're going to be fracturing rocks and a lot of
Exactly, yeah. And it was great that they were able to share that visual that shows the microseismic imaging and everything. Our system will look a lot like that, and it's the same sort of parallel offset of wells and flowing. Right.
What is that gap comparison on the parallel drilling?
We are planning right now the wells at the bottom are going to be 600 feet apart, which is slightly higher than the forge spacing. But it's a little bit of a different goal. I think we placed our first set of wells that we drilled also closer together because much like Forge, it's much better for sort of data acquisition for an early project because that our first project went well enough. We're going to space up the spacing a little bit. You can get more power output per well if you get the wells further apart. But it's sort of a Goldilocks thing. If you get the wells too far apart, they won't connect.
Right.
And so we're going to try a little bit larger spacing, and it's very vital for us to have the data that Forge collects on this because understanding how far apart to put those wells where they're far enough apart to get great power but not so far apart they don't connect is a really difficult decision to make. And with how expensive these wells are, you don't want to get it wrong.
No. You don't want to miss too many.
Can't underscore how important it is for us to be able to have that offset well data from the Forge project to help us make these decisions.
And lastly, sort of closing out here, sort of some of the job status. We're going to look to keep this up to date as we go forward. But again, as we agreed before, splitting this up into 3 separate categories that are on site. Direct impacts there, supply chain, also very important reduced impacts expected to see count. We see quite a substantial amount of jobs there for the construction period, largely attributable to all of the support network needed for drilling operations as well as when we ramp up and start developing our surface facilities as well.
So right now, you're kind of doing mini camps and stuff out there, or they're camping or living or whatever on site, right? For the most part.
Correct. And likely as we scale up, we'll likely need to look at temporary housing facilities, and how closer to the site when we have that amount of people.
Yeah, and to be more specific too, it sort of depends on the service. The rig crew that anybody who's seen us today that's out there, they just live on site because they're out there for 2 weeks continuously. When we call out for special operations like fiber optic install that Forge talked about earlier, that's kind of a special crew. They're only here for 2 or 3 days, so they'll just stay up on the hotels generally. So it sort of depends on what function people are here for.
I know we've got a lot of this kind of stuff going on right now with our fire up here, so our man camp down here and trying to figure out how to take care of landfill issues and garbage and food, whatever else. Are you guys doing okay as far as that goes?
Yes, yeah, we have. It's pretty much the industry norm for these kinds of drilling operations. So when we contract the rig, it comes with those work camps, and we've got all the right, water delivery and sewage disposal and everything contracted to take care of that for the full.
I didn't know if you used local people or how you're doing that. Because I know you had Rollins.
Yep.
Was local.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if like landfill, because there are some, what's my word? Franchise rights.
Exclusive.
Franchise rights. For landfill.
I couldn't tell you the contractors for that off the top of my head, but that's something we can certainly follow up on.
And our zoning administrator is supposed to be giving this information to developers as apply.
Okay.
Apparently there's a breakdown in that process.
But if it's working,
Maybe they
and
have.
you guys are happy, we'll do it.
Maybe half of these guys.
Maybe they have, yeah,
I
maybe
don't know.
they have.
With the Forest Service.
We'll definitely check in on that.
That's
We haven't heard any complaints yet, but also let's make that a two-way street. I mean, if we are sort of overflowing hotel rooms and you all are noticing whatever.
I don't know that there's such a thing as overfilling. That sounds like a.
We were talking about that.
Good
a good
problem.
thing. That's a
Good
good
problem to have.
I think at the Beaver Paradise, it's a lot busier than the last few times we've been there, so.
Yeah, she's not hearing you, I guess.
Sorry.
That was bad.
No worries. We got you.
I'll leave it at that.
Well, I think that about sort of concludes our update here. Open-ended questions, and actually on the next slide, just so everybody's aware, we do have a project website, so we'll have some information on there for anybody that needs it. So if there's any questions, have an answer.
Yeah, and we have a few community-based initiatives as well that we've been working on. One, I've emailed the three of you and Jen. We're having a groundbreaking for this project on September 25th. That date was actually selected by the governor of Utah, who plans to be there, and so we're very excited about that event. We sent invites to a couple of both Utah senators and a couple of other federal officials, hoping that some of them will decide it's worthwhile to come out to Milford. So I think we're really excited about that, and we hope all of you will join us. I think Commissioner Yardley, we have yes from you.
It's a beautiful place, I'll be there.
Okay, excellent. Great. And so that's happening. We
It's on
also-
my calendar, so I don't know.
When did you send it out?
I've
seen it too, but I don't.
Last Thursday. I can read it.
I,
Came from my,
it came from him.
from
you.
Sarah Dodger.
Well, I didn't have service last week.
No worries. I can also read.
I'll have to look it up.
We
Or that on
also,
the commissioner leave, please.
Yeah.
yeah, and anyone's invited.
I'm gonna crash
Keep
it.
your phone.
Yeah, resend it, will you?
Oh, is that
Resend it.
I'll resend it.
Oh, shit. So we need to be.
There is in the afternoon, they were going to put it in schedule for
Oh,
the
yeah.
afternoon.
3 o'clock, at 3 o'clock, right?
Two. Yeah, 2.
Yeah,
2
but
or
we
3?
don't need it.
Somewhere.
2 until 3:30.
Yeah, I think we're.
Do we know that we have appeals yet, or were we still waiting to see?
His application, so we don't know, but we have to plan for it.
Yeah. So we'll have a hard and fast for you by the 15th.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about the scheduling.
That's what the governor.
Yeah, when the governor decided.
Challenging schedule, very challenging,
He is, he's
as much
very
as we
busy.
tried.
Yeah. We also recently became members of the Utah Line and the Chamber of Commerce. We have sponsored rodeo, and Brandon Moss will actually be there. We do not have a booth. He will be in attendance. I think it'll be a good banner. Next year, we'll have a booth. Right next to Christmas.
And then you'll just have this
You're moving
competition.
on.
I know, we're
We can
just
have
trying to be like
dinner
that.
or something.
And the Taylor Swift video too, right?
Yeah, that's good. You're right.
There we
Right
go.
up my alley.
Now we're talking.
Ironically, the runner-up from Beaver High, same exact song,
Oh my God.
seriously.
T-Swift is life.
Apparently.
She's on fire. She's on fire.
She's a wilderness man, so.
Yes.
Do you all have any questions for us?
When do you expect to increase power?
So our current commercial operations date for this first tranche is expected in June of 2026.
Well, we're definitely working on selling the second tranche because we have to be here for many, many years.
That's what it's sold, right? That's what it's sold, that power.
We're working on it. The first power is mostly contracted.
Do you have an executed PPA for that or not yet?
Right, so we have PPAs already executed for both the 2026 and 2028 tranches.
Okay.
Some remaining capacity for the 2026, 2028, and then closing our commercial negotiations.
So does Beaver County have a chance of buying in on that property, on that power?
Yeah, so we're hopeful at some point in the future that will be the case. We are very hard at work with Pacificor through their integrated regulatory proceedings to forecast future demand and tell us about the value of geothermal. We've been involved with them since 2021, and they might be starting to hear us.
It's kind of a hard nut to crack.
A little bit of a hard nut, and I think at some point we may draw on your support to try to.
Persuade them. That
Scary.
comes down to that.
I think we need to, and specifically the state legislature, are very supportive. You know, they were very supportive of the Forge project, and we have a representative right now that one of his number one initiatives is for Utah to be self-sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we can do some pretty significant arm twisting.
Well, we need help because I do sort of feel like we are the only voice on the ground advocating for other firmly power sources other than nuclear. And so there's a big push from Pacificor to contract nuclear power from NuScale in Idaho and TerraPower in Wyoming. And often they cite that as the reason that they're not interested in our projects.
Yeah, but we want to stay Utah-based. So while the governor is here, we also got an invite to Senator Vickers and Carl.
Senator Vickers has accepted and Carl Albright has not yet.
Okay, I'll see. He might have a conflict or something, because I think he's been out there. I know he's been to Forge, and he's been to Glendale, and he's the one that's been, this is his big deal. He's been legislation on being Utah, self-sufficient on this.
He's the chairman of the PUET, the Public Utilities and Energy and Technology Committee.
Right, yeah. So I'll text him and make sure he's planning to do that. Get our heads together and figure out how to do that.
We think that we're basically going to run out of transmission capacity on this project.
What about
Probably run
transmission
out of-
lines?
What's that?
That was the next question. What about transmission lines?
Yeah, we have a fair amount of capacity on the first transmission line that we're using in that area. What I was going to say is basically we're going to run out of transmission capacity before we run out of resource. And so I think there's a large potential for future transmission development to this specific area, and that will definitely open up our possibilities for some more power.
Because if you looked at the Red Butte line, being able to jump onto that one.
I think we've looked at almost all the lines in the area. I mean, I think interconnection transmission has been challenging, I think, for every developer. And our interconnection team is actively looking at all available pathways, whether it be PAC-core, Rocky Mountain Power. to
Because
see-
everything that goes to California, so, you don't want to do that, we want to keep it in our own grid.
Sure, and another thing we're working on more, medium to long term, as Sarah said, we expect there to be more resource and transmission offtakes, so we're also looking at industrial partners that we can do, behind the meter loads that don't have to get interconnected. That would all be more long term, post 2028, but we're having some conversations about, doing more local, power for different industrial loads.
It's great. Just keep us in the loop, and if you need a muscle, call us. We have a little.
Yeah, we appreciate that. I mean, the way these regulatory procedures work in Pacific Core and elsewhere is really through public input, and so lots of times our comments alone definitely don't carry that much weight. I mean, I think as we start to provide more jobs and that's what's happening in the state, they will carry more weight, but we could sometimes use some backup, and so we may call on you all to help with support.
Well, there's some numbers that people don't use that are very helpful. So any job in rural Utah equals, I think it's like 70 on the Wasatch Front. So you do that transition. So we had quite a tour down through Utah last year, or last week, and they all have to get that exact, what that comparison is. But one single good job in Beaver County is equal to like 70 on the Wasatch Front. So, yeah.
And we know interconnection is a challenge. As you go through that, if there's process we need to change, we need to work on, let us know, because I've seen that just on my own place, doing little tiny solar projects, trying to get those interconnected. We were 2.5 years on a net meter, so we know that's a challenge. But if there's ways to help you through that, let us know. We need to work with the legislature to change that, so.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, you all have, I'll send you all a re-up invite. You'll have my contact information. Jen obviously has all of our contact info. Please never hesitate to reach out, especially if you're having problems, or if you see something that is not going well, or if you just have questions, or if the community has questions. We'll be out here more regularly, so please don't hesitate to just reach out to us.
And lastly, we're definitely excited to host, hopefully many of you this afternoon, the site visit, so you have that at 1:30 to welcome.
Okay.
For the announcement.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Wonderful. Great to meet you all.
Yeah,
Thank you so
all
much
right.
for making time for us.
We'll see you this afternoon.
Thank you for the flag. Oh my gosh, Jen, so nice.
See you guys.
Thank you.
All right. Ginger, got some time for us, old business, what do you say today?
Last meeting, Sheriff Black was here and was discussing Summit Food and the issues they had. They have entered into a new agreement, which is the agreement I'm presenting to you. They negotiated 176 is
So is it with the same company?
same company. Where to see? It looks like I'm looking for it again.
Could be wrong, but I have in my mind a 5-year term with automatic renewing. You don't see that?
I don't see that.
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking of Pinnacle instead.
So Pinnacle is the other one I'm talking about, which is the commissary company
I think that's one.
that they're moving. It has been, oh gosh, I can't even think what it's been. Anyway, so Pinnacle is a new vendor, yeah, I think so. Pinnacle Correctional Services is the new commissary service that they will be picking up, and so this one is another contract, and this one is a 5-year one.
Yeah, and there were some changes that they were going to make
beginning of
extension is all that is.
August 1st, 2023. So that's just a 1 year. That's what I was thinking, you said 5 years. Oh, this one could be 5.
Food prices and stuff, I would guess,
Yeah,
there must be.
they're gonna have to negotiate food prices. I know it's
Yeah,
been,
there's
it's been an
duplication of
issue.
services between two contracts, and I just wanted to make sure that we don't get in trouble by having two people permit the same year. Looks like there's
Yes.
allowing, but, so, yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, this has got the change that I asked you to do.
Inmates.
I know, but yeah, the name for it, but not good.
Commissioner, this does include the changes that I
So we're
reported,
on.
so we are solid. Yeah.
So does this one have a timeline on it, or?
And then there's a renewal after 5 years.
So we have,
Excited for it.
So it is a 5 year.
we need to have two separate motions. The first one is amendment to the food service partnership agreement with Summit Food.
I'll make a motion that we sign that contract with them. Is it an amendment?
Well, I think so,
Okay.
because I think it just said extend the term periods, August 1st, 2023 for a year.
I'll second that.
Any other questions? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Perfect.
The initial all the way through it.
Well, my memory's mistaken, this is for 12 months.
That's what I got. I think all of it is
This
only
is for 12
here.
months. I'm sure the 5 came from, but it says 12 months.
Maybe that was something on there, so they would have liked to for 5 year, and maybe it was
Or do we want to be more official? Yeah, right.
I can't think anything like that's gonna get locked in for 5 years.
Yeah, it's 212 is in the government.
All right, I'll entertain a motion on the Pinnacle Correction Services.
I'll make a motion, we sign the contract with Pinnacle Correction Services.
Second that.
Any other questions? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nice. Good. Cool.
I just don't think it's telling us when it was waiting.
So we're gonna get Sheriff Black on here, so.
The line draft,
Yeah, because you're the one authorized to
yeah,
sign it.
you have to sign a contract. And him and I talked about that yesterday.
He feels the same way we do. If your name's on it, everybody feels better.
Yeah.
He wants you on the hook, not him. Are we making you feel better now?
Did I call her an aye vote yet?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Maybe it says that I
Maybe,
would.
okay.
Do you want to go out to the site visit, or
Yeah,
you got
I'll
time?
just swing out there and check it out.
Okay. We'll break for lunch and give you a
Okay,
I'll catch up on emails.
Okay. Thanks, Tom.
anything else, Ginger? Counselor, you have anything?
Nothing, thank you.
Stephanie? Commissioner Pearson?
Yeah, we've had a couple of things.
Okay.
And this is something we do annually, but the summer end of the coalition group with Rhonda Hutchins and that, they always do their, I can't even remember what we call it, the end of summer, back to school, whatever, and they do drawings, and the county always gives away, somebody to their family, so we've historically given them like a fun pass for next year, or
Yep.
campsites and whatever, so if it's all right with you, I just propose that we do exactly what we've done every year.
Sounds good.
I usually run it through Jen, it doesn't cost us anything, it's just a certificate.
Right.
Run it through Jen Marshall, just have her write up the certificate and get them to, and I think you've helped on that too, having stuff,
We can schedule so we have them.
yeah. So,
I think it's a great deal, and that coalition is awesome, so.
they do such a good job,
Yeah, we
and
can support them.
it's just keeping families together,
Yep.
keeping kids off of, the prevention coalition in general, so.
And if we get into some of those county venues, that's good to
Yeah.
show we have.
I think one thing that we ought to do is, I think they're doing it after the fair, I wanna say they do it, I think they do a bunch of stuff at the fair, I think they have a booth.
They do.
And then they.
Big was right in the first
Yes,
weekend.
the big booth, and then, that's part of the, like the wheel that you
Yes,
then prizes
yep.
and stuff at,
Mhm.
so.
No, it's good.
You guys okay, we'll
Yep.
make sure we get plenty of stuff.
Whatever they need.
Okay. Let's see, thank you. Do we know the day specifically as the fair that we have to be to? We got the grand opening and the lunch, right?
Yes, so the open ceremony's on Thursday at 2:00.
And then you gave some times on Friday night and Saturday night.
So I think it was 6 or 6:30 on both of them.
We don't have to do the grand entries anymore, do we?
Yes, they requested us heavily to be
They
there.
requested a truck too. But I said.
I think we
"Don't have
can-
money more."
We can, they said they can get a truck.
Okay, good.
I'll make sure that's the case still. If not, we'll find one somewhere.
Okay. We need a driver?
They always look at stuff.
Who normally drives the Ginger?
Did you do that?
There we go.
Oh, we've had a bunch of different people on the rest. We ought to do all of the elected officials is what we should do.
Yeah.
Well, let's not go overboard.
Come on! I think it should be all the elected officials, not just the commissioners.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because when they throw rotten tomatoes, then there's more
You
harm.
want to share the love?
Yes.
You want to share the joy?
That's a great idea.
I actually think that's a good idea, to let the community
No.
see who else is involved.
Sheriff White.
Yeah.
See, now you're
Yeah,
expecting a
and
booze and
Trent.
distance.
No, we already get booze and hisses, I just want to share it.
You want to share the booze and distance.
I think we should all do it.
Do you want that on the calendar when you're requested to be there? Okay, I sent a text, but I'll make sure.
I
we get it on
think
the
I've
calendar.
put it on already, but.
You better just double check this, yeah.
We could just put it on the commission calendar.
I know
Yes.
Friday night, Saturday night.
Friday night, Saturday night, we did.
2:00 on Thursday, grand opening.
No, they do it for the ladies on Thursday.
Yeah, it's just,
Like,
yeah.
I'll put one
Yeah,
on.
It's
The
nice.
2:00 is just the opening ceremony.
It's just you go there for the opening ceremony, Brandon has to do the speech, and then that's it.
It's a nice piece that I've been working on.
I have you on the card on the 24th.
What?
Yes, I have to be, so on Thursday is gonna be a pain in the butt, right? I don't know how I'm gonna do. It's that Leeway, we have the conservation board, and I've missed 2 of their site visits, because they keep changing the dates and they put it on other stuff that I can't get out of. Now, they're on first day of the fair. And I'm just like, guys, why don't you send out a doodle and figure out?
Why don't we do beautiful?
I don't know, it makes no sense. And then they just set this random date, and they just barely sent it to me Friday. Anyway. Yeah, but guess where the site visit is?
Not Cedar County.
Thursday morning.
As far away as
Logan,
possible.
and there's 3.
Logan, holy moly.
Touchdown.
That's the other end of the world almost.
Well, it's just like, next week, I would prefer the Logan. That's home.
So he is, they just didn't know how many to give. They said in the past.
It's either going Thursday, probably.
I don't know. If they get a full board, I'm gonna flip out on them. That's 3 times. And, do we need to go into closed session?
30 seconds is all I need if you chose to do that. Yes,
Yeah, everybody's on.
Well, then
I
no,
know,
then
but
no,
this is
then no.
something that we
It's
should
all
go
good.
into.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
You don't have to do it.
But, So there's just a possibility of one of those easements coming to be, and it's what goes back and won't show up at the building. We might actually have an opportunity to use the work up here. So I don't know, I'm gonna try and work that
Okay.
out.
I know the fair board, they requested all of us to be there if possible, but they understand we're busy. Yeah, whenever you
Well,
can.
I've
You're
never,
there.
I've never not
Right.
been there, I've always been there, but this might be one of those times that I can't be available.
I plan to be there every
Do
day.
you wanna dance for the little bridges?
Dance?
Little bit of rodeo.
Yes, dance.
Oh, now. Dance, I was,
Yeah, you can dance
I
too.
was ready, had my speech, my dance prepared.
Tutu, he has a
He was like,
tutu.
finally, someone asked me to dance. Let's do, let's,
If-
no, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I need to be there to announce, I can do that. We should be done with hay, and so I'll plan to be there all the time. All right.
So what, two things just timing wise, and I don't know what I'm gonna do, because I know we haven't budgeted for that, but, considering I got put on that, I got put on the Real Action Caucus as vice chair of the presidential appointment, and I'm not planning on. The RAC conference is in November in West Virginia. Anyway, and then we have USAC in September, so that's next month. You guys just got your, so that's the commission council done already. And the 7th and 8th of September, and then we've got the fall conference. We'll be back in St. Louis one more time, and it is, I guess I can, it's the 14th through the 7th, or the 15th through the 17th. So we're gonna have to talk about budget for that.
Is that in September as well?
Okay.
Yeah, well, it just costs money to do that kind of stuff. But anyway, that RAC conference is the week before the UAC conference, and that's that National Association of Counties. And they're the ones that I've been trying really hard. I've been doing a lot of different presentations on public lands and on PILT. And I think I can get somebody to go do the PILT conference, the PILT fly-in in September. Because I'm not gonna, I just can't. And I don't think we should be paying for it all the time anyway.
So we changed commission meeting to the 6th, the 5th.
Yeah. Which is fine, because I think the only thing on the 6th is board meeting that night, so I can get done in time for board meeting, but, anyway, so we're gonna have to figure that out, so we can figure it out. That's all I got.
Okay. Nothing else, then I'm gonna entertain a motion to go into a closed session for the purpose of discussing the character, professional competence, or physical mental health of an individual, discuss strategy for pending or reasonable litigation or real property negotiation.
I'll make that motion, go into closed session.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, stated names?
Commissioner Yardley, aye.
Commissioner